Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Speak. And this is your host, Ms. Angela, a faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences and the AB Broadcasting Program of Foundation University. Now, this afternoon, despite our very busy schedule with the Buwanang weekend and all, we are so happy that we found time to hold this episode. And this is really important today because we have a special guest. And this is none other than the university president of Foundation University. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for D5. Hello, Sir Dean.
Finally, someone calls me D5.
Yes, at least now a lot of people already know that you are D5. You caused this stir last year because almost everyone, especially the student body, did not realize that you are D5. But now we are so happy that we have D5, and we have a lot of questions in store for you, Sir Dean, if you don't mind.
Fire away.
Yes, we would like everyone to know, since this is a podcast, that you have this lighter side of you that not everyone has the chance to see and to enjoy. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, since he is our president, we have to ask him first about stuff related to our school, like school development and his inspiration. Let us see. So, Sir Dean, are you ready?
Go.
Or you want to say something first?
No, go.
Okay.
My phone keeps buzzing, so anyway, go.
All right, Sir Dean, we have all the time in the world. Number one, as an architect, how does your professional background influence the development and design of the campus, especially with the recent additions of the new benches? I've seen that several days ago. And of course, our very famous social garden that even attracted celebrities, national celebrities. So how does your professional background
Were
influence
you laying
it?
down on those benches?
Not yet. No, not yet. Maybe. I'm almost tempted. It's really attractive. So what can you say about it, sir?
Charlotte just told me one day that, the students are really enjoying just staying here at school. They need places to sit. And we had those old benches there before, but they were very ugly. So, so I changed them. And going back to your initial question about how does my profession help me here.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about architecture is we're kind of like the conductor of all design disciplines, like engineers, landscape architects, interior designers. And we have to kind of know how everybody's playing so that we can conduct the end product towards the right direction.
Okay.
So with that, I can do the same thing here because I learned over the years working in other offices how to anticipate results. You don't have to watch somebody. You just know you're supposed to do something within a certain period. That's very hard to do in the beginning because sometimes you really don't know anything. So by observation, you just understand that certain things can take a certain amount of time. Certain people have the ability to do certain things within that time, and certain people do not.
Mm-hmm. But we love the benches. We realize that since
Good.
we are increasing in terms of enrollment, a lot of students already need more benches, and they look so pretty.
There'll be 2 more mini social gardens. No water, but
Okay.
just benches. There by CBA and one by education.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So speaking of that, Sir Dean, yes, please continue about the upcoming projects, sneak peek of the developments that we can look forward to in campus.
Well, that keeps changing. I mean, last year when we had the press con, we were talking about DAFA, library, nursing, and there's one more. I mean, of course, we were working on the science wing last year. That's finished. But this year, we're thinking about adding a 3rd floor over there at the main building for criminology. And then, of course, the mini gardens I just told you about. We're also looking at procuring land because parking has become
An issue.
such an issue here. There's a parking lot in DAFA, but it's already under design because we have way too many vehicles.
That's right.
And the shop at the North Campus, the 2nd floor, that's supposed to be parking, so I have to move the shop out of there so we can use that for parking.
Okay.
So that's one of the issues that we're dealing with is parking. The other one is, of course, everybody's complaining about why is my classroom not air conditioned?
Exactly. I think I'm one of those people. Yeah, no. Yeah.
We will eventually have all rooms multimedia, multimedia and air
TV.
conditioned.
Yeah.
Well, the multimedia by that time might be different because actually this year for Kasujaan, we are doing projection mapping. You know what that is?
No. That's why
Oh.
I'm being silent.
It's a projector. I mean, a projector is just a big image. And then if you project it on several surfaces, it just changes shape, right? Projection mapping is you can actually, for instance, like that guy's shirt right there, you can map the shirt and project just the image there different than the image over there.
Really?
Yeah. But it's just one projector. Yeah,
Are many people already using it outside the
Manila.
country? Oh, Manila.
yeah.
Wow.
And I've been researching it, so we found more economical ways to do it because the ones in Manila, their projectors are like
Wow.
$30,000. No way.
So I'm sure everybody is listening right now. Please look forward to that. Also, Sir Dean, I would like to add about our new library. I was there.
You mean the stairs?
Not just the stairs, the lounges where students, because
Yeah.
you have mentioned that students love to stay more here on campus than in our boarding houses where the heat is really intolerable.
That's the second boarding house for some
Exactly. And
students.
was that part of your plan?
No.
So I'm sure you
but
saw them.
truthfully, when I was in school, the libraries were all air conditioned, and I would go there to take a nap.
And nobody
because-
minds?
No, because University of Washington at the time had like that very modern couches, super comfortable. So you just sit there, and you're out for like an hour, then you go. So if they do that here, that's okay. Also, just maybe we'll have better seating next. That's not supposed to be for sleeping. We can provide couches that a little more comfortable.
Yes, but on the brighter side of things, at least they're not going anywhere where their parents could worry.
That's the most students I've seen in the library in all the
Yes.
years. I've
How
been
many years
here.
ago the library was almost not used by students?
But I think that's kind of weird, is the library has become very social. My office was next door to that
Yes.
before, and I could hear just
Chatters.
bing,
Okay.
like every 5 minutes. But it's changed so much that nobody seems to mind the talking. Actually, there's not much talking in the library. It's still quiet. They're just
Browsing their
resting.
gadgets.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoying the books.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, Sir Dean. What factors do you consider when designing spaces that blend functionality with aesthetics, like the outdoor seating areas that seem to enhance both the environment and student experience here?
An architect is supposed to be super observant. It has nothing to do with levels of intelligence. We just see things that are unusual.
Okay.
We're not talking about rocket science here. So if we see somebody standing and doing this, they're looking for a place to sit. So that's one criteria that you put into the design is, oh, obviously you need places to sit, socialize, rest, whatever. I was at school, it was inspiration of other architects. I would look at the books and literally, just copy that. These days, there's still a little bit of copying because there's a lot of architects that I like. But for the most part, whenever I talk to the users, like you,
Yes.
I just find out what you want and then put that into it. And, sometimes we have to temper it because it's all based on budget. But for the most part, actually, after all these years, I figured out how to do things on a budget without really compromising the aesthetic or the function. So,
I believe you're very observant. I don't know if you're aware sometimes. I would like to share this. This is really funny. You can ask Sir Peter of CAS about this. I got worried one morning when I saw you, and we kind of have a little, hi, Sir Dean, and I saw you watching my slippers, and I got so worried. So Sir Dean was watching it like you're not watching anywhere else.
Were you wearing
Yeah, I
glass
was-
slippers?
No, the black one. And when I was in the office, I asked Sir Pete, is there something wrong with what I'm wearing down here? And she said, oh, there are so many dust on your slippers. Oh, Sir Dean saw
Dust?
that. Dust. It was dusty. I'm not sure why you're looking at my slippers that time.
Well, at this stage of my life, I don't remember a lot of things.
Yeah, maybe you're just not aware. But actually, that's a funny experience. And Sir Peter, you're just overthinking. He's the president. He's just looking at somewhere else. Okay. Now, shifting gears a little,
Yeah.
as a leader and an architect, what hobbies or activities do you enjoy during your downtime?
You know, believe it or not, and I can't get it out of my head,
What?
YouTube and maggots in ears and noses.
Oh.
I can't get enough of that.
Yeah, we love
I'm
those
starting to get
things
itchy
too.
about it, just thinking about it, right? You too, right?
Yeah, he's agreeing.
And the other day I saw maggots under,
Yeah.
here. I'm like, I didn't watch the whole thing because I'm like, I can't watch, that's too much. But every day
It's satisfying.
I've been thinking about it. But I can't. Anyway, that's only one infatuation to burn up time. But the rest of the time, especially with the way politics is in the United States now, I'm always watching something about politics, especially since I really want Donald Trump to go to jail.
You want?
Yeah, he's a terrible person. He's very bad.
And so you I did not feel bad about what happened to his ear last time.
I think it's fake.
Me too. You saw those people at the back?
Yeah.
They're just,
But the thing is very sad is if it was staged, a person sacrificed their life for his staging, fake. I mean, he always says fake news, but that's fake. Anyway, I really want him out. I really want him in jail. He deserves everything that is coming to him. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
yeah, a nicer guy. Okay, who would that be?
I'm being facetious. It couldn't happen.
Anyway, many of us look up to you as a visionary. So this is a big question because I'm sure our students, especially the freshmen who have just met you, wanted to know who inspires you, whether in architecture or in life, and how do these people influence your work and leadership?
There's no particular person. Like I said earlier, a lot of times it comes just from observing what happens. Because, that's the one thing about architecture a lot of architects don't do. They just design something. They don't notice how it's used. They don't know if it's successful. They don't know if it's a failure. They don't know any of that. They just, for lack of a better word, you can censor this if you want. It's just really masturbation. And that's
Okay.
it. They're just satisfied and then move on to the next one.
Okay. Wow, that's a good analogy. Wow, Big Word. That's why I love this podcast. I want people to know the lighter side of Sardine. You're not grumpy anymore because sometimes on campus you look
I'm
grumpy.
just thinking. Anyway.
Okay.
But the inspiration really comes from what do people need, because that's the profession, is addressing people's needs. And if you get really good at it, it doesn't matter if you're being very practical. You understand how to design an aesthetic into it. So if you tell me you need a room for 20 people, I can give you a box, right? But I'll ask, okay, what about the floor, the ceiling, the lighting, the windows, the door? All that stuff comes into play in how you use a room. But a lot of architects, it's just, I'll give you a box. I'm done.
Okay. So in your journey as an architect, Sardine, and of course being the president in the university, is there a piece of advice or philosophy that you live by?
I can share this with one of my professors, because when I first got into this architecture, it was my second design studio. I was really quite concerned because, you're a student, you're a kid. You don't really know what's going to happen to you when you finish. And at the University of Washington, the program's only 2 years. 2 years to qualify and 2 years in the department. And I was already in my second year. And it's like, well, that's coming close. I'm going to be out of here. No more playing around, no more late night coffee or frisbee or any of that kind of business. So I was wondering, and he just told me, just enjoy what you do. Everything else falls in place. That's
Yes, as simple as that.
it. Yeah. And
It's supposed
so
to be easy, right?
it should be. I mean, you should be concerned about issues, but at the same time, if you find a way to enjoy your work, nothing else really matters. Everything else falls into place.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. And also, Sardine, since our campus has always been dubbed as a very beautiful campus, sort of like a resort, so personally, what is your favorite spot on campus and why?
Favorite spot? My office that has no windows.
Is that true?
Well, there's one window. You kind of have to look out the left. Now, in all seriousness, maybe the latest one that was finished because it's my favorite because I'm fascinated with the way people interact with it. That's what I'm always looking for.
Which one?
Now it's the science wing.
Okay, at
And
FBA.
I'm watching how people park, because
Okay.
I'm like, some people do not know how to drive, really, seriously. Do
You're
not know how to
observing
drive.
again.
Yeah. So I'm like, how do we, because, in architecture, there's always this nonverbal communication. You find ways to manipulate the environment so that people will understand through some sort of brainwave that this is how you use it. And so that my fascination is like every time something new, right? I mean, my brother-in-law worked for Microsoft, and one summer he was apprenticing, and he was tasked to design a volume knob, the gain knob, not the receiver, not this, not a knob.
And then?
And what he did is he was telling me, because he returned to Hawaii one summer, he was telling me how people interact with things. And some people would leave it here and, finger like this, and some guy would leave it up here and use his thumb like this. It's really weird if you ask people how to interact with your design, how they will be completely off the wall, completely far, far away from your assumptions.
Okay, so that's what's happening. at
Yeah,
the
and
wing.
that's what I'm looking for is, am I on? Am I off? Am I in the middle? I'm always gauging the success of the design. So that's why maybe that's the most inspirational space for now. I mean, the next one will be nursing, the nursing building.
Okay.
And that's probably the largest classroom building we'll have next to DAFA, which will be coming up in about a year. And I like to observe how they use it. I mean, there's an elevator, there's rails outside, the people stand outside, they take the stairs. We're even hearing, putting in a bridge between the new building and the old building. So are they using these bridges? Those kind of things.
Okay. So is the social garden one of your
Yeah.
favorites?
I like to sit there and watch how people just
Yeah.
sit there and kind of cruise.
Yeah, sometimes I think, what is Sir Dean thinking? I passed by and I saw you there, sometimes just in a trance like that.
That's my Zen moment.
Zen, wow, that's your Zen moment.
Perhaps. For a second, if I'm just staring at the space, that's my Zen moment. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
turn it all off and just,
Are you interested in Zen, like the Japanese?
not so much Zen, but what I've learned over the years is especially when things get too hard, get too frustrating, you learn how to make yourself quiet.
Okay.
That's kind of like
That's why you like yoga.
meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just anywhere you just understand how to make yourself quiet. And the people that have real psychological problems, they don't know how to make themselves quiet. There's
Yeah.
just too much noise.
In their head.
Yeah. So you just
Exactly.
find a way to silence it for just a very short, even just 10 seconds, is a real. It's really quite, how do you say, satisfying.
Another interesting question. If you weren't an architect or president of Foundation University, what other career could you imagine yourself pursuing?
All sorts. I had some serious ambitions about being a professional soccer player
Yeah.
back in college.
Mhm,
Yeah.
You mentioned that before.
And, when you choose professions, it doesn't matter if it's sports or architecture, at some point you realize, I don't like this. And as a soccer player, I enjoyed playing, but I didn't enjoy the fact that it was a profession. Even in college, it was already a job. Okay, and in order to keep my starting position, I basically had to treat it like a job. I had to be way, way better than the next guy trying to take my position. And at some point, I stopped enjoying it. I still enjoy soccer now, like the coaching and all that, but it's just really hard. And so you're asking, what would I be doing? Not really sure. My body won't let me do certain things anymore.
But if you were younger,
I used to race sailboats, and that's the one thing I really enjoyed was that. It was because it was a catamaran and it's fast, really fast on the water. Actually, I like speed. So anything having to, like mountain bike, that's how I got into this.
The injuries.
Yeah, because I was just speeding down the road and
So the sailboats, you have tried it many times already.
I was a Commodore for a club in Hawaii for 2 years. And before
okay.
that, I was racing 2 years. And the club just kind of died because windsurfing came in and nobody wanted to sail.
Mark is distracting me. Anyway, how do you manage the balance between your responsibilities as an architect, a leader, and your personal life?
You know,
Or do you have a
my
personal
wife is
life?
so puzzled about that because when I'm working, she says I do things in spurts. So I'll just be focused completely for about 2 or 3 hours, sometimes a little bit longer, and then I'll just stop for 2 or 3 hours because sometimes I just have to kind of digest what I just did. A good example is when we were looking for a house in Hawaii, there was a property up for sale at the right price. And I got so excited, I went back to the office and designed the whole thing in 6 hours. I was done. Then 2 days later, we went to visit because the broker was showing it. And I asked the broker, how many people are coming? He said, 15. I said, forget it. It's a price war. So that was gone. But actually, because of that, my mom's house in Camp Lookout, that's the
Valencia.
house. Yeah.
I'm not down to the last.
Change the disc.
Okay. If you could describe your journey with FU in one word, what would it be?
Challenge.
Why?
There's so many, having grown up in mostly predominantly U.S. culture, I'm always switching it on and off and I go back and forth. And Hawaii being the closest thing to the Philippines is still not close enough. It's still way more Western than most people would think it is, especially the ones from the mainland. They think it's very Asian, but it's still very Western. And the challenge is remembering how Filipinos are versus how even the local Hawaiians are. And that's the biggest challenge, is always addressing the fact that it's different. It just is different, and I can't do anything about it. I just have to work with it.
Yes. I think challenge will be the word wherever we go. So anyway, message to the FU community. That's from them.
The message. Kind of, my parents are going to hate me for this.
Oh, brace yourselves.
I'm not the type to be concerned about grades. I'm really not. And the Philippine culture is infatuated with grades.
True.
Grades and first prize and blah, 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 blah. All this rubbish. And, see, they'll get picked. Right here. And for me, you'll find your place in society. Everybody will recognize you. If you just do what you like, just do it well. And a good lesson is if you don't like doing certain things, do it badly because people will take you out of that situation and you can
That's the
actually
best
do what you
escape.
want to do.
Yes.
Yeah. As a student, I hated most of my classes because a lot of it was pretty boring. But the one thing that I did enjoy was architecture, design classes because you always had an ability to think outside the box. Now, depending on whatever degree you have, just think outside the box and you'll do just fine. Don't think about those grades. Of course, don't fail.
Of course.
But don't be infatuated with acing everything. Be infatuated with applying yourself so that you can be satisfied with your effort.
Wow. Thank you for opening our minds. But actually, I agree at some point. I'm a teacher, but do you agree? Yes. That's why we have this podcast, because we are supposed to say things that we cannot always, express outside. But thank you so much, Erdine. Did you enjoy our talk?
Yeah.
You want to say more?
Well, you weren't that shocked when I said the M word.
Yeah, actually. But we're going to air it, right? I don't know. She decides. No? But it's an analogy.
No,
It's not really.
That's not a curse word. That's just an action, right?
Yes. But we can cuss here, right? No?
No, this is not
I was
cable.
just kidding. Sardine. So, I was supposed to ask Sardine about one more. Okay, you're up. Anyway, thank you so much, Sardine.
I'll talk fast.
You talk fast?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you describe yourself? One
Nice.
word.
Introvert.
Oh, you are. That's why. Yeah, they're shocked. But anyway, thank you so much. Our University President D5, Sir Dean Cinco, thank you so much, sir. We
Well,
really,
thank you.
really enjoyed. We hope we could spend one day for a podcast, but we couldn't. And this is another episode. My name is Angela, and see you next time.
There's always another day.
Yes.
Thank you.